Hello and welcome to Seeing with Sam, where we do live card readings. I give instructional videos on retrogrades, chakras, and I know that it's been starting off on kind of a rough note, but I am going to start every week adding an instructional video on how to start actually doing better with yourself with what I have used for years. And I know I don't look that old, but I've been practicing this most of my life, so don't worry. I've already done all the mistakes so that you don't have to. But today we're actually going to start talking about chakras. Now, quick background on chakras in case you're brand new to the idea. And just a heads up, I do not like the term baby witch. I think that it honestly is an insult to you because you're not a baby anymore. You're a newbie. But back to what I was talking about. And sorry, long legs. Keeps on hitting my desk. But anyway, so chakras are 7 energy centers in your body that start at your tailbone and go all the way up to the top of your head. You have the root at your tailbone, which is where your personal stability lays at. Your sacral is where your passion for life and your creativity hangs out at. Your solar plexus, which is right at that juncture of your ribs, that little divot there, is your solar plexus chakra, where your confidence and your personal power is. Your heart, obviously, about the center of your chest, even though we all know that the heart is anatomically a little more to the left, but we'll go with it. Your energy center for your heart is right in the center of your chest. Your throat chakra, third eye, is right at your forehead, just a little above your eyebrows and in the middle, and obviously crown. Heart chakra is where your emotions are going to live at, where they are being expressed and processed. Your throat is obviously your communication. Your third eye, a lot of people get the third eye and crown mixed up. Your third eye is your intuition, your ability to look around and pick up on things. And your crown is how you get those divine messages from the universe. Now, everyone seems to think that you can only balance these little guys because sometimes they go out of whack. They get overactive, underactive, and there will be separate videos for each one of the chakras to know if you're over or underactive and how to know when you're balanced. But we can always kind of tell when something's a little off just based on the quick description of those chakras. But you don't need to get a whole bunch of crystals because crystals don't work for everybody. Much like your over-the-counter medications, what works for your sister, cousin, aunt, whoever might not work as effectively for you because all of you are different. For some people, stones do work out great. For others, burning an incense. But you've probably tried so many things and you're at the point that you don't know what to do, or you can't bring these things with you if you're on the go. And trying to find a Reiki healer you can afford sometimes gets a little tricky. Or if you have an appointment with a Reiki healer, but it's weeks away, sometimes it's great to have a few things on hand to make sure that you stay as level as you can until you can get to a Reiki healer, or if you just can't find one that you like. What we're going to talk about today is actually using music to help you center those chakras. And I'm not talking sound bowls or sound waves or all the other metaphysically ways. I am talking about legit things that you are using every day that you don't even realize. Your Spotify, your Pandora, your ripped off MP3s from when you were 15. We all did it, so don't even say that you didn't. But there's actually music that you have listened to hundreds of times over and you don't know why you suddenly feel better, but it's because it was working on that chakra that you needed. Because all 7 of the chakras vibrate with a certain keynote. And believe it or not, all songs are written in a different key. You probably don't know a whole bunch about music, but let's go back to elementary school real quick. And you remember Every Good Boy Does Fine and that face thing that your music teacher tried to teach you? That information is finally going to need dusted off and come in a little handy. But you don't need to be able to read music, and you don't need to be able to know right off the top of your head what key a song is in, because thank God we have the internet. But what you do need to know is what key that chakra vibrates with. And I do have some sample songs for you guys in my notes over here to help make sure that you are off to some level of a good start. Now, get your notes out because, as I've promised before, these quick information videos are going to be quick. The worst I will ever make them is 20 to 30 minutes. And those are for the way more in-depth stuff. This is the quick, don't worry about having to take a crap ton of notes other than the quickies. Now, your root chakra vibrates with the keynote C. And I'll try and go slow because I know that some people like to make sure that their handwriting is perfect whenever they're doing this. Your sacral is D. Your solar plexus is E. Your heart chakra is F. Your throat is G. Third eye is A. And your crown is B. Now, like I said, you do not need to know off the top of your head what songs are written in these notes, because if you do your due diligence and make sure that you're grabbing the proper website, there are hundreds of websites that are going to be more than happy to tell you what note each song is written in. And actually, when I was doing my own research, I was ecstatic, and I do mean ecstatic, to find out that some of my favorite songs finally made sense on why they were my favorites. And some of them also kind of threw me a little bit on the fact that they actually vibrate with that chakra. But I'm going to say my favorite one for last because it vibrates with the crown chakra, and I know that we all know the song and we all dance to it. So there's no judgments at all when we all say yes. But for your root chakra, a couple of sample songs to try, because remember, your root chakra is where you are going to try to make sure that you are as energetically stable. And this is not just for a metaphysical portion of your life, this is also for your mundane portion. Because let's face it, if we are not grounded and ready to feel some level of stable, if we're feeling like we are constantly shifting and walking on eggshells, our root chakra needs a little TLC. And a couple of things to help you out with that is, if you are a fan of the old stuff like I am, Beatles. All You Need Is Love. That is, I have to say, probably one of the better known Beatles songs, and I was ecstatic to see that. Not only was it written in keynote C, but the fact that it also works for your root chakra, honestly, it's like, yes! And another good one is a little more modern, so don't worry, we're going to go with old stuff and more modern stuff, is Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. I know that's a little on the older side, but it's another really good song that I know that has been, interestingly enough, I felt a little bit of a shift sometimes whenever I listen to that song before I even realized it was working on my root chakra. Now, the nice thing is some tidbits I'm going to give you in between songs is that you don't necessarily have to listen to the lyrics or even know the lyrics. What matters is that you are letting your body and your mind feel the vibrations of that song while it's playing. And that's what's going to help you start to let it work its job on those chakras, whichever one you are working on at that time. Now, for your sacral, where your creativity, your passion, your fire for life is living at. If you're having a hard time writing that book that you've been meaning to write forever, if you've been wanting to start a new craft project but you just can't get yourself moving through the door, work on finding some D note songs. One of the best ones is Where the Streets Have No Name by U2 and If I Could Fly by One Direction. And again, like I said, I know that these songs with their lyrics seems like total clash over, but it's not the lyrics so much as the notes and the vibrations from those notes that's going to work on you. So even if you're just listening to these songs instrumentally, Double check that the instrumental is still staying in the right key, but let the instruments and the voice, not necessarily the words, but the voice kind of soak into you while you're listening. Your solar plexus, where your confidence lives at, if you've been feeling kind of blank, because let's face it, seasonal affective disorder is totally a thing, and there's just days where we just do not feel 100%. Couple of good ones. I know that we all had a goth phase in the early 2000s. You know you did. Just accept it. Of course, that's if you're old enough for the early 2000s to have a goth phase, I guess. But Breaking the Habit by Linkin Park, if you are over 32, you know you listen to it. It was popular as hell, and it was a great song. Thank you, Linkin Park. We still miss you, Chester. And for another one that is on the older side, we all love Queen. Even decades and decades and decades later, we all still listen to Queen. Another one bites the dust. Tell me you do not get a little bit of a power surge inside yourself when you hear that song start up, let alone when it's playing. The heart chakra, like I said, it vibrates with the keynote F. This one actually kind of made me laugh because one of the things that I like to do sometimes is make a playlist for people that have made me feel really good about myself or have really been giving me really good memories. And I actually asked my current partner to toss a few songs so that it can be kind of like a collaborative thing. And one of those things is actually the song that vibrates with the heart chakra, which is Apocalypse by Cigarettes After Sex. And while the band name is a little unfortunate, but it is actually a great song, and it definitely made sense on why in my chest I actually legit, when I first heard the song, because I hadn't heard it before he threw it my way, that I felt level, calm, almost like everything just got leveled out completely in the best way possible. So I can definitely say that that sucker works with that heart chakra. And for those a little on the more popular music side, I did get a Bruno Mars Just the Way You Are that actually is written in F note. So I think we can all agree that even that song, though some of us aren't really into the super popular stuff, it does make you feel pretty good on the inside. And that's one of the things that the heart chakra is supposed to do when you're having your heart chakra leveled out and vibrating the way that it needs to. Next on our list, and we are getting ever closer to that crown chakra song that I know that we are all going to just, yes. But our throat chakra, where our communications at, sometimes we have the hardest time in the world using our words to express ourselves, even as adults. And I know that it can get frustrating, and the worst part is the miscommunication that it can cause because adults are way less forgiving than kids ever will be. Having seen how kids work from my own and from my friends' kids, it is amazing on how much of a discrepancy you see on that. But to help us work a little better on our throat chakra and be a little better at communicating, and remember that's in keynote G, we've got an old favorite of mine again, which is awesome, I have to say, because I've used music therapy for years to make sure that I stay mostly able to people in the world and be allowed in public. But Creep by Radiohead was definitely a pleasant surprise, along with Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. I know that both of those are a little on the older side, but again, like I said, bless the internet because so long as you do your due diligence and make sure that you're grabbing from a reputable website, you can literally search songs written in E note, F note, B note, whatever chakra you're working on, make sure that you have your notes handy as far as what note that vibrates with, and make damn sure that you are grabbing the songs in those notes because you will definitely notice a huge difference in how you're working yourself and working with other people when you start using that music to help level out those chakras. Now, next is our third eye chakra, where our intuition is. If you've been noticing that you've been a little brain foggy, or that you just don't seem to be catching on things as fast as you used to, your third eye is probably going a little wonkadonkle. And I'm not gonna lie, I did get a little gooey when I saw this one, but Something Just Like This by the Chainsmokers. I'm not gonna lie, the lyrics do make me a little gooey on the inside, so things to think about whenever you're trying to find something for your partner and you just kind of want to make them go, oh. And also so that you can play that song and be more aware of what it is that is going on around you and what the people around you need. Or maybe even what's going on around you that you should probably be addressing. And another good one, and it's definitely more of a get up and dance type song, is Bad Romance by Lady Gaga. And we are on the crown chakra, B note. Excuse me. Getting those messages from the universe and making sure that we are following the path that God, Allah, your spirit guides, your deities, whoever it is that is your major universal power source for you, your crown chakra is how you get those messages. And one of the best ways I found to unblock it is, again, for myself with music. And drum roll please, the two best songs that I found for crown chakra that are written in B note that made my day when I started doing these notes was All Star by Smash Mouth and Don't Stop Believing by Journey. I'm not gonna lie, I know probably all of you are going, what? Don't Stop Believing by Journey is apparently a full-blown crown chakra song. We thank you, Journey, for writing that song, because even it's probably been written better than my lifetime. I never really did get around to researching the release date for that song, but for pretty much my lifetime, that song has been fabulous and has always struck a chord with me. And I did not even realize that it was helping me balance my chakras. Who the hell knew, right? But I am going to heavily encourage all of you, if you have a Spotify, start making a chakra playlist and make sure that you make one for each of the chakras. Because if you make one for all seven, I'm not going to lie, you're going to feel a little jumbled up and crazy. It is always best to work on one at a time, because you're working with pretty much, if you've ever played the game Jenga, that is essentially what your chakras are, a giant game of Jenga. If one's off, it's going to throw the other one off. And if you try and work on the entire tower all at the same time, you're going to make the damn thing fall. So help me, help you. Remember those keynotes. Feel free to rewind as many times as you need to write down the songs, get the keynote that chakra's in, all the things. Just make sure that you are doing one chakra at a time when you go to start trying this out. And remember, the lyrics don't matter. It's how that song vibrates with you that matters. So, without further ado, have a fabulous week, and I look forward to seeing all of you next week when we use food to balance chakras, because it is a fact. Music is damn near everywhere, but sometimes if we're stuck in a cubicle or if we're stuck in a meeting that we don't want to be in and we can't have music, who's going to complain about you having a light snack, right? See y'all next week.